Hello friends, in this video I will explain you 6th chapter. Here the chapter's name given designing organizational structure, specialization and coordination. So in the previous chapter also we studied about designing organization, but there the topic it was different. It was about authority, and now in this chapter we will learn about specialization and coordination. So as you can see on your screen, the first topic here given. So the first topic, let me select one. Okay, this one I think it will be better. So I think it is visual. No, that color it is not looking good. So some other color. Yes, I think this one it will. Yes, this is good. So first here given functional structure. So what is functional structure? So here as you can see on your screen, a design that groups people together on the basis of their common expertise and experience, or because they use the same resources. Okay, functional structure, it is a type of design of the organization in which we group people together on the basis of their common expertise and experience, and the way they use resources. If you are grouping people in the organization on the basis of their common expertise and experience and how they use resources, then that type of a structure it will become functional structure. So an organization groups tasks into functions. Tasks into so many tasks are there in the organization. So organization can group tasks into functions to increase the effectiveness. So why we group different tasks into functions? To increase the effectiveness. Now you can see here, to increase the effectiveness with which it achieves its principal goal. Okay, so why we group different tasks into functions? To increase the effectiveness, to achieve goals, providing customers with high quality products at a competitive price. So it means if effectiveness increases by grouping different tasks into functions, then it is going to result in providing customers with high quality products at competitive prices. Okay, so as functions specialize, skills and abilities improve, and the core competences that give an organization a competitive advantage emerge. Now you can see here, as functions specialize, skills and abilities improve, and the core competences that give an organization a competitive advantage emerge. So now you can see here, as so here how functions are going to specialize and skills and abilities going to improve. So that will make that will create what a type of competitive advantage for the organization. Direct functions emerge. Now you see different functions emerge as an organization responds to increasingly complex task requirements. So why we group? So that means we group different tasks into functions to increase the efficiency of the organization. Okay, and different functions emerge as an organization responds to increase them. Means so many different complex task requirements are there. So those complex task requirements cause different functions to emerge. Advantage of functional structure here given. Advantage of functional functional structure given. The first advantage here given, uh, when many people when many people with skills in common are assembled into a functional group, they can learn the most efficient techniques for performing a task or the best way to solve problems from one another. It means, yeah, the one advantage that if people are going to be grouped on the basis of common skills or common expertise, then in that case they can learn more from one another, and that is going to improve their efficiency, and their performance will also increase. So that it was the first one. The second here given, people who are grouped together by common skills can supervise one another and control each other's behavior. The second given that if people are going to be grouped together by common skills, then they can supervise each other, one another, and control each other's behavior. Third given, people in a function who work closely with each other over extended periods develops norms and values that allow them to become more effective at what they do. Okay, what they do, people can become effective if people in a function who work closely with each other over extended period of time. It means if there is extended period of time during which people work together, then that is going to develop certain norms and values, and those certain norms and values allow them to become more effective. So that it was the third advantage. Control problems in functional structure. So some control problems are also there in the control structure. So what are those control problems? As organization's skill and abilities increase, now you see organization skills and abilities increase, then what happens? And the organization is able to produce a better and wider variety of goods and services, its ability to service the needs of its growing product line becomes strained. So if so many products are going to be supplied to the customer by the organization, then in that case service will become strained. The need of its growing product line becomes a strain. Okay, because for each product more service will be required, more people will be required. So for different products different behaviors will be required. So that's why here product line becomes a strained. As it produces more and more products, becomes geographically diverse, or faces increasing competition for customers. Control problems impede managers' ability to coordinate organizational activities. So now these all factors. So here as it produces, means as the organization produces more and more products, okay, and it becomes geographically diverse in so many different locations. Organization is producing different types of products, and so many different types of competitions are also there in the environment. Okay, then in that case control problems impede managers, means so when different products in so many different geographical location and so many diverse different types of competition, so these all things combinedly cause control problems to the managers to coordinate organizational activities. So here control problem, the first control problem here it is given, communication problems. As more and more functions develop, here you can say as more and more functions develop, each with its hierarchy, they become increasingly distant from one another. They develop different subunit orientation that cause communication problems. Here more means when many functions are going to develop, then each with its hierarchy, then in that case so many functions are going to develop, then each function will have its own hierarchy. Then in that case those functions will become distant from one another. Okay, and that will cause a different subunit orientation. It means the different functions will develop a different subunit orientation that may cause communication problems. So that it is the first one, communication problem. This is the first problem in functional structure. Second problem of the functional structure here given, measurement problem. So as organizations grow and the number and complexity of their functions and products increases, the information needed to measure the contribution of any one function or product to overall profitability is often difficult to obtain, because the cost of each function's contribution to the development of each product becomes increasingly difficult to measure. Now you see here, so many, if so many different functions are going to develop in the organization as organization grow, then in that case what happens, the contribution of each function to the profitability of the organization becomes very difficult. Okay, so that it becomes very difficult. So means managers are not able to evaluate so which function is contributing more for the profitability of the organization. So because so many different functions are there, so this is the second problem, that is the measurement problem. Third problem, it is given the location problem. Geographical spread can pose a control problem within a functional structure. When centralized control from one geographic region prevents this from happening, manufacturing, sales and other support activities are not allowed to become responsive to the needs of each region. Now you see here, so many different in so many different geographical location the organization is providing different product and services. So here the support function which is centralized in a particular geographic location, that is not able to respond quickly. It means that support function. So what are support functions here? Just like sales, manufacturing and other support activities are not able to respond quickly to the demands of different regions. So that is location problem. Fourth one given, customer problem. Servicing the needs of new kinds of customer groups and tailoring the product to suit them are relatively difficult in a functional structure. Okay, if the organization has to service a new group of customers, then in that case tailoring the products, it means designing the products and manufacturing the products according to the need of new group of customer becomes very difficult because the organization should change the product and services according to the demands of a new group of customers. Functions like production, marketing and sales have little opportunity to specialize in the needs of a particular customer group. Instead, they are responsible for servicing the complete product range. So what happens generally, the functions, so some generally functions just like production, marketing and sales, these functions are responsible for the whole range of production services, not for any particular group of customers. Okay, they are responsible for all customers and not to any one particular group of customers. So that's why it is difficult. So here it is difficult for different functions just like production, marketing and sales to service different groups of customers. Fifth, given a strategic problems. As an organization becomes more complex, top managers may be forced to spend so much time finding solutions to everyday coordination problems that they have no time to address the longer term strategic problems facing the company. Strategic problem means thinking about the company's long term goals. Okay, so long term plans and the problems, thinking about and finding the solution of the problem, so which are of long term nature. So when the company grows and it becomes complex, then managers have to spend more time on finding solution and coordinating different functions, so they get less time for strategy planning. Okay, means long term strategic problems. So here given solving control problems in a functional structure. So how func means whatever the control problems are there in the functional structure, how that can be solved. So by redesigning the functional structure to increase integration between functions. If we can design the organization in such a way that different functions are integrated to a larger extent, then in that case we can solve the problem of control. Okay, from functional structure to divisional structure. Here given from functional to divisional structure. So managers regain control. So why means there is need of divisional structure, and why we move from functional structure to divisional structure? To increase. So we move from functional structure to divisional structure to increase the control and coordination. So that's why here written managers regain control of their organizations when they decide to adopt a more complex structure, which is the result of three design choices. So now managers regain control of their organizations when they decide to adopt a more complex structure, as compared to functional structure when managers decide to choose a more complex structure so that they can regain the control of the organization. So here result, and that complex structure is the result of three design choices. So what are these three design choices? So first given an increase in the vertical differentiation. So it means we can say complex structure will have increased vertical differentiation, and second given in an increase in horizontal differentiation, it means that there should be increased horizontal differentiation also in case of complex structure, and third given an increase in integration. Increase in integration meaning how those different functions, means how different subunits can be integrated. Moving to a divisional structure. Yeah. So from functional to divisional structure here moving. So the structure that organization most commonly adopt to solve the control problems that results from producing many different kinds of products in many different location from many different types of customers is divisional structure. So whatever control problems were the organization was facing, so just like here adopt to solve the control problems. So many different types of control problems organizations face when they use a functional structure. So to overcome those problems, organizations use different types of divisional structure. So what happens in divisional structure? Control here there is it is increased control of the organization. Now the results from producing many different kinds. So whatever problems the organization was facing due to control problem that results from producing many different kinds of products in many different locations for many different types of customers. Here these all different types of problems control problems can be overcome by using divisional structure. So what is divisional structure? So divisional structure groups functions according to the specific demands of products, markets or customers. So here this is a type of grouping of different functions according to the specific demands of products, means according to means what are different types of products, so what are different kinds of markets and what are different kinds of customer. According to these factors, divisional structure group different functions to satisfy the demands of these things, just like different customers. The purpose behind the change to a divisional structure is to create a smaller and more manageable subunits within an organization. So why we choose to why we choose divisional structure? So here given the purpose behind the change to a divisional structure is to create a smaller, more manageable. So when we use divisional structure, then that is a smaller and that is manageable easily, means we can manage our divisional structure easily. If the control problem is due to the number, so here you can see according divisional structure can further be classified on the basis of whether the control problem is due to the product, or whether it is due to the market, or whether it is due to the the geographic location. So on that basis we can classify the divisional structure in three parts. The first here given, the control problem. If the control problem is due to the number and complexity of products, the organization will divide its activities by product and use a product structure. Okay, if the complexity of products and the control problem means whatever control problem is there in the organization due to the number and complexity of product, then the organization will use product structure. Okay, and in product structure the organization will divide its activities according to different products. Second given, if the control problem is due to the number of locations in which the organization produces and sells its products, the organization will divide its activities by region and use a geographic structure. So when the control problem is due to a number of locations in which the organization produces and sells its product, so then in that case the organization will choose geographic structure. And in geographic structure the organization will divide. Now you can see here the organization will divide here. The organization will divide its activities by region. Okay. Then third given, if the control problem is due to the need to service a large number of different customer groups, then the organization will use market structure. So here in market structure the organization will divide its activities by the customer groups. Okay, according to different customer group the organization will divide its different activities. So each type of divisional structure has greater vertical and horizontal differentiation than a functional structure and employs more complex integrating mechanism. Now you can see there it is difference in between the functional and the divisional structure. So what are different types of differences? So first now you can see each type of divisional structure has greater vertical. So now in case of divisional structure there is greater vertical and horizontal differentiation, and there it is greater integrating mechanism also in case of divisional structure as compared to functional structure. It means in simple word we can say in the divisional structure greater horizontal differentiation, greater vertical differentiation and greater integrating mechanism. So thank you all. So remaining a part of this chapter I will explain in another video. Thank you.